Final hour overdrive continues. Brought to you by FanDuel. Bryan Hayes, Carol Wagland in here.
The music is getting much better as the show goes on. I will say that.
Really?
The first couple, when we returned at a break, the guys in the booth, the music was lackluster.
That's
the last couple selections, much better.
This is T Swift. I don't know this song though.
Yeah, this isn't one of her bigger ones.
I don't know what.
You
song
were at the
this
concert.
is.
You should know.
I was at the concert, but she sang like 47 songs.
Now, were you at the concert because you really wanted to be there, or were you at the concert because Aaron made you?
No, it was. I gave her the tickets as a gift for her birthday. Gift. Yeah, we went down to Detroit, and I made it clear to her. I said, "This feels like a Dear Hayesy-B. We're going to do that at 6:30." Said it's your birthday, your tickets. You do whatever you want. I'd love to go.
And she chose to choose. Like, I would not bring. I would have brought a girlfriend to that. Like,
really?
That'd be way more fun than bringing my husband.
So you're telling me Bobby would spend a fortune to buy those tickets?
Yeah.
And say to you, "Hey, I'd be up for going," and you would give him the Heisman and take a friend?
Yes, because I've already done it in the past.
Wow. That is ruthless.
I've gotten tickets to sporting events, and I'd be like, "Hey, babe, I need you to get the kids because I'm going down to this sporting event."
But he gave you the tickets. That's what I'm saying.
No, he didn't give me those tickets.
See, like this is. I gotta be honest.
I would probably test the room and say, like, do you have any interest in coming to this?
Right.
Engage what he's. I don't know. Like with parents though, it's whether you can get childcare because usually one parent has to stay back.
Yeah, but see, that's an important part of the context here. Is we had care if need be. I could have stayed with the kids.
Yes.
But that would have been even more disappointing for me if I missed out on getting a chance to get out of the house.
Sure. So it's more about getting out of the house than it was to see
listen, Taylor Swift it's not like I'm not a Swiftie. It's not, I don't have any of her music. My kids love her now.
But you know some songs.
I know, of course.
You can shake it off.
You have to know some of her songs, right? She's arguably the most popular artist on earth. Mm-hmm. Certainly one of them. So I knew a lot of her catalog, and it's not that I dislike Taylor Swift. It's just if it were up to me, it's not like I would personally be saying, I got to go see Taylor Swift. But I thought it was a cool idea. I know my wife wanted to check it out. It's the concert of the year.
It was huge.
It's one of the biggest concerts I can ever recall in terms of hype, what it's doing to the economy.
Oh, man.
Like down in the States, it's wild. What it's doing to our own politicians who are openly weeping online pathetically to get her to come up to Canada. And I'm looking at the main guy in Ottawa.
Sounds like it worked.
I don't think she's coming up because Trudeau decided to tweet her.
But
I'm pretty sure she was.
Whatever gets her up to Canada, I'm going to try and get some tickets there.
But, I got her the tickets, and she had carte blanche. If she wanted to take a friend, take her sister, she could have taken anybody she wanted.
And she chose you.
And she chose to take me. Now, I did say I'd be up for going, and I'd like to go. I got to be honest. I am shocked by your reaction. Because we've had this constant theme throughout the couple of hours about tickets and basically ticket etiquette.
Okay.
Where if you give someone tickets and then you ask for them back, we both agree that's a gutless maneuver.
Yes. 100%.
Now, there can possibly be some context in that could allow for a gray area. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I forgot I told my kid I'd take them, or
I would say if there's kids involved.
If there's kids involved, sure. Or, I forgot that I was supposed to actually go to tomorrow's game. Now I can't. Do you want to do a flip? Like there could be some sort of gray area context that allows for the redemption of tickets after you've handed them out. But if it's just simply, Ohtani's pitching now, so I want him, and you're scum, and I'm taking them, gutless maneuver. I got to be honest. I think a significant other giving you tickets for an out-of-town concert that is a massive, massive portion of pop culture, to not take them is even more ridiculous. Like, that is ruthless.
I think, it really depends on who you're going to see. If it is at all anyone that I think my husband would be maybe interested in going and he got me the tickets, then I would say, that's the first conversation. Are you buying me these because you want us to go? Cool. Or are you buying me the tickets because you want me to go and enjoy myself and I can take whoever I want?
Well, but, that puts him in a really tough spot because, it's your present.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. It's your gift. If I were in those shoes and I happen to be in those shoes, I'd probably say, you do what you want to do. And I would be relying on you to pick up on the
See?
radar that obviously I have to take you with me.
And that is one of the biggest problems in relationships right now. You just have to tell the person what you want to happen.
Wow. That is ruthless.
I want to go. If
the
I'm
idea of Bobby
going
missing
to,
out on T Swift in Detroit. I'm feeling
no, I would
wrong.
bring Bobby because he really likes Taylor Swift.
Okay.
But depending on who it is, I want to go with the person that's going to create the best experience at the concert. And if I know, like, I really want to go see Fleetwood Mac, for example. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
He doesn't really care for Fleetwood Mac.
All right.
So I'm not going to bring him. I want someone who's going to love it and enjoy the moment and be crying during landslide, just like I will be.
So who are you going to find? A 70-year-old hippie to come with you?
I'll bring a friend. Like, listen, Craig Button and I, we're going to go see Bruce Springsteen together because I know he loves the boss as much as I do.
Yeah.
And so you want to go with someone who's going to enjoy that moment.
You don't think Bobby would love the boss?
He will not enjoy. I've already
Yes,
seen
he
Springsteen once. I did not bring him that time. And he will probably not come when Button and I go.
You're gonna kick him to the curb for Craig Button.
Craig J, because we will have a time.
Listen, I think you're right. I
Dancing
agree
in the
with you,
dark.
especially in terms of local concerts.
Yeah.
A roadie, a road trip, big event, calendar
road
event.
trips are different.
Gotta have it. You gotta
don't
bring the
know.
significant other. I think you got to. We got some big news in the NBA here, actually. I want to get to this later this hour. For late July, there was a full, like a memo sent out to all 30 teams regarding Damian Lillard and his agent and their actions. You know, the reports out there that his agent was calling teams saying, don't even trade for this guy. He's not going to show up.
I heard he only wants Miami.
Yeah, he only wants Miami. And
Okay.
effectively, like, he's not coming. You know, if you pick him up and you're not Miami.
So he's trying to set the market.
It sounds like things have changed here based on maybe what the NBA has investigated. We'll tell you about that later in the hour. Dear Hayesy-B later in the hour. Let's head down to the park. Jays Angels tonight. Here's Scott Mitchell, our Jays reporter. Scotty, let's begin with the top of the lineup. We got Whit Merrifield hitting leadoff tonight. George Springer moving down to 5 in the order. How do you think that conversation went down between Schneider and Springer?
Yeah, look, I think it went down, as you'd expect it, go down for a veteran guy that, knows what the team needs. And, it's funny, we talked about it last time about Guerrero, and that's one of the things that John Schneider pointed out about this move. He said, maybe this helps, Vladdy, see a few more pitches. And obviously this is about George Springer just kind of struggling a little bit. And this guy's been one of the best leadoff hitters in the game for, the better part of a decade now. But you got to move some parts around sometimes to kind of maximize your run production. And, the Blue Jays are trying to score more runs these days. And I think Springer's, season has been okay. I think the interesting part is, the power's missing. And you look across this lineup, that's the case for a lot of guys. Vladdy's power's down. Kirk's power's down significantly. Varsho's power's down. Springer's power's down. It's going to be interesting to see if this gets this lineup going. But Whit Merrifield's, hit like a leadoff hitter this entire season, kind of one of the better kind of underrated surprises offensively.
Yeah, he's been really good. Other news item that came out today, Hyunjin Ryu will return on Tuesday. So 6-man rotation as of Tuesday. That sets up about an hour and 7 minutes after the trade deadline will expire on Tuesday. How are the Jays planning on juggling a 6-man rotation?
Well, they've got 17 games in 17 days coming up, so they're kind of looking at this as a temporary kind of solution, just having 6 arms that, you kind of need to run through that rotation and, a stretch with, 2+ weeks without an off day. So it's going to be really intriguing. And look, every 5th day, I think Alek Manoah is pitching for his rotation spot, and, he's going to have a tough test tomorrow, down here at the Dome. And I think when you look at the situation, they'd be fine with running a 6-man through August. When you get into September and you need guys in their kind of routines and you want Kevin Gausman pitching every 5th day, kind of getting ready for, kind of the stretch run, you got to figure something out by then. But hey, having more, MLB caliber rotation arms than spots is a really good problem. And yeah, you mentioned the deadline. I think truly interesting what they're going to do there. Here's a name that I've heard a little bit, Steven Matz. A guy that can obviously pitch in the rotation, and a guy that has also, over the last couple of years, picked up some experience in the bullpen. Alexi as well. The Cards would probably have to pay down a little bit of his contract, but, familiarity and an interesting little fit. And I think that's probably the rotation kind of, bucket you're in is 4th, 5th starter guys that can play a swingman role if needed, if your other options are all pitching well.
Maybe a little insurance if Manoah's starts don't go well, or if who knows what you're going to get from Hyun Jim Ryu when he returns, which will be following the trade deadline. Kevin Gausman's on the hill tonight. Any concern there from Gausman? I mean, he's kind of been the workhorse this entire season, but he allowed 4 earned versus Seattle. He's got 4 straight L's on his record. I've been reading a little bit. The velocity's been down. Are you seeing anything that's concerning you there?
Yeah, that's the notable thing. His velocity was down, 2 or 3 picks in his last start. And, I think there's probably a couple of, reasons for that. Just the layoff, coming through the All-Star break, obviously skipped that game and then, had a couple starts skipped as well. So, that could be one of the reasons for it. But anytime you hear, side soreness, he used the term to me, in a conversation oblique. And, that was the first time I had heard anyone use that because the Blue Jays were, kind of officially just using left side soreness. So anytime you hear about that type of injury for a pitcher and it's on his left side, so kind of his torque side, and he said he's never experienced an issue in that area before. So, yeah, I wouldn't say concerned, but every time, that velo's down plus the oblique thing, you're hoping he's back in that 94, 95, range tonight. But, even though he was down significantly in Seattle, still pretty good stuff. So, no concern, but he's definitely the one guy. If you look across this roster, there's probably 3 or 4 players he can't afford to lose, and, he's definitely one of them.
With Scott Mitchell, our TSN Jays reporter, Jays Angels tonight. So Shohei Ohtani is in town. We're still about an hour away from first pitch, but what's the Ohtani vibe like downtown?
It's pretty crazy, actually. I hung around down on the field. There's a huge group of, Ohtani supporters, from the community here in Toronto, just, packing it behind the dugout. And you don't see that a lot anymore. I think, you see it for a few returning players, but, this guy's so unique, and you have some truly interesting conversations with baseball people when, the name comes up and he comes to town. John Schneider tonight was just like, man, I was hoping he would get a day off after what he did yesterday, but nope, back in the lineup, second spot. And, this guy's just a freak. And that's the term people use. And, everyone wants to say, hey, I think, Ohtani's success is going to allow, teams to develop these guys. No, it's not. There's one Ohtani, and, this is the best baseball player we're all going to see until we die.
I bet John was hoping that Ohtani wasn't going to be in the lineup tonight. Scott, I got 2 questions for you. Are the Jays selling any Ohtani jerseys a la Seattle? And for you personally, because I know in this industry, when you're down there working, you got to keep it professional. You're not asking for photos and stuff, but Shohei Ohtani is someone you might ask for a photo. Would you consider, if you had the opportunity, asking through the translator, Shohei, can I get a quick selfie?
I'm super old school with that stuff. I don't know that I even have a photo with any athlete. So that would be a hard no for me, but I'm not saying it would be wrong. I mean, this guy is a freak of an athlete. I think the most that I'll do is I'll stick around, do some Instagramming around the cage. Maybe someone would take a photo of me with him in the background. That's probably the closest I'd get to a photo with an athlete. You
got to put in the request with field producer Ian and say, while I'm talking to him or standing 10 feet away, I need you to take the pic.
Yeah, that request has been in, so we'll see if he succeeds.
Yeah, that's a baller move, like the pretend you don't care Ohtani's there picture.
Yeah.
Like that's a good pick, man. You don't even care he's there. You should go talk to someone like whoever the 7th arm in the bullpen is for the Angels. Be talking to that guy and have Ohtani over your shoulder. That's journalism, isn't it, Scotty?
The best photo I've got from young Ian, the producer, is just a photo of me about 100 yards away talking to Don Mattingly. And, Don Mattingly is, a special one for my father and things like that. So, yeah, that's where, this job does get cool from time to time. And you hope to have a few mementos. But, yeah, I'm old school. Taking photos with athletes, I'll leave that for the podcasters.
Okay. All right. I like it. With Scott Mitchell, our Jays reporter. So you mentioned 17 games, 17 days. You got 3 against the Angels. The Angels are 3 back. Baltimore in town for 4. So you're going to be looking into the rear view here for a few days and then looking straight ahead after that. We're post All-Star break. We're almost at the trade deadline. Like, is the messaging been consistent, or are you sensing that there's an elevated sense of urgency for the Jays, knowing what's at stake here and that this is going to be a hell of a race the rest of the way?
Yeah, Yeah, that's such an interesting question. I think the sense of urgency and, the way people look at games differently, truly, to be honest, is a media-driven thing. Like, I'm looking at these games differently. The season series with the Angels this weekend is, something that they need to take care of. The Orioles, obviously, they've played terrible baseball, but these athletes and baseball in particular, they're so day-to-day. There's 162 games that you wake up and you got to do the same thing, go through your routine. But they know these games are important. They know the division games. They know their division record. They know where things sit. And, they've got a couple game cushion right now, but a couple games can go away very, very quickly when you have 2 months and 59 games remaining. And, the Angels and Jays both have 59 left to go. And look, I've been saying it since March, really. And I said it last year, and I think I even said it in 2021. There's going to be playoff spots available until the last week of September. And, I think Major League Baseball did a great job with this playoff format because it's taken those middle teams that you can maybe see selling because they don't realistically have a chance. And it's given them, hope and an opportunity. And it's completely changed how teams go about things this time of year. And you only need to look at 2019 or last year, for example. The Nationals were 5 games over 500 around this time. They won the World Series. The Phillies were 5 or 6 games over last year. In a wild card position, and they got to the World Series. So, I think it's going to be an interesting 2 months, and I think the way that these playoffs are structured these days really is keeps teams in it, and it also keeps fan bases in it as well.
All right, Scotty, enjoy yourself down there, buddy, and we'll do it again soon. Thank you for this.
All right, take care.
Scott Mitchell, Jays reporter.
Did you hear the disdain in his voice when he said he'd leave taking photos with athletes to the podcasters?
To the podcasters. That's an old school,
disdain.
Oh, yeah. That's the guy that works deadlines, and he drinks scotch, smokes cigars on planes. Scotty Mitch is old school. He's got journalistic integrity.
He does.
He doesn't
really
care
does.
about Shohei Ohtani.
I respect that, not taking the photos. It's funny that that's totally the move, though, that he said when you asked the field producer, I'm going to be over here in the vicinity. Just take the photo when no one's looking, and then it looks like I don't care either. Yeah.
There's some wild stuff you see on Instagram of people that are somehow taking live shots, but like they have someone taking the photo for them. And I always wonder, who's taking that photo for you? Who's taking the picture of you pretending that, you're just walking through a crowd?
Sure, because it's orchestrated.
Of course it's orchestrated. Who is taking that picture?
Someone. Most people have a person or a team with them now.
Yeah.
Just for social media purposes.
Just for influencing.
Yeah.
I get it. If you're an influencer, if you have millions and millions if you're a huge celebrity, all right, of course you're going to have people taking different. But if you work at TSN, how do you have someone taking action shots?
Because you need the behind the scenes for social. Meanwhile,
okay.
the poor field producer, Ian, I'm emailing him to grab me the giveaways every time there's a home game.
Oh, really? Like a bobblehead or something? I guess he gets in there.
He's got to hate me. Yeah, for sure. I'm like, hey, can you get me that purse or that bobblehead that's being given away?
Bobbleheads.
For my kid.
Cause a stir, man.
Yes.
People get down there hours before.
They go nuts for them. And then they wind up on the secondary market for
It's all about selling them, but what do you think you're getting? But who's paying for a bobblehead?
It's a collector's item.
Is it?
I don't know. Not
what's
for
it going to
me.
be worth? A collector's item would suggest that it's almost an investment, right? In 20 years, I intend on selling that, and I think I'm going to make money.
Yeah.
Is a Vladdy Jr. bobblehead going to be worth something in 20 years?
If troll dolls were worth money at one point, then yes, I would say bobbleheads probably will be as well. But especially commemorative ones, they have the Joey bats. Do they already have it, or it's coming up still? They're doing a bat flip one.
Okay.
And they're having him come back. They're going to trot him around the ballpark. That one I could see being worth something. Cool. It's commemorating a big moment in Blue Jays franchise history.
Right.
Just your average. What gets me with the bobblehead days, though, is they set it up, they orchestrate it, they schedule it, and then without fail, it ends up being a day when the player is now on the IL or isn't even there, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that happens.
Your Packers would probably have a bobblehead day after they traded a guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they posted a happy birthday to a linebacker today and then cut him 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the same thing. You have a bobblehead day and the guy's on the IL.
What are you going to do?
Or you plan for it in advance. You can't really plan for one post-trade deadline for anyone that could be a fringe player. But a fringe player is not getting a bobblehead anyway.
But then does that send a message? If you feel like you're an important guy to the rotation and they're not offering you a bobblehead, get you thinking.
Yeah.
Am I going somewhere?
Good question.
Clues.
Yeah, you got to keep the integrity of the bobblehead. You can't have everyone getting one.
It's like a tribute video?
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose your...
Yeah. Espinal can't get a bobblehead, right?
I don't know. Has there been some really random bobblehead giveaways?
I wouldn't be surprised if in sports that has happened.
You think you would keep it to like the really big name guys.
Like you got about a handful of players on every team where it's like you're bobblehead worthy. Beyond that, you're not bobblehead worthy. Sorry.
It's a hard line to draw.
Yeah. Can't do it. Can't spare a square. Can't spare a bobblehead. You're not sponge worthy. You're not bobblehead worthy.
Oh my gosh.
Can't do it. Can't do it. All right, Dear Hayesy-B coming up. Best bets brought to you by FanDuel later in the hour. I'm looking ahead to the match, Canada versus Australia. I get a good feeling about our Canadian.
Do you?
I got a pretty good feeling.
I got no feel here.
No?
Well, after Australia was upset, they're so, right there being upset can say a lot, but they had some injuries they're dealing with. But they're going to be so desperate heading into this.
Yeah.
The home crowd is going to be on their side.
Place going to be going crazy.
Just I don't know how the squads are dealing with all the travel all over, like having to fly from Melbourne to Perth and then back to Melbourne. And
they got a lot of days in between, though.
Still, though, that's a grind.
Yeah, they'll be okay. It's the World Cup.
They'll be all right.
It's the World Cup. You got to grind. Mailed in Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza. Weekends are better with fish bowls and frosty pints on the BP patio. Grab your sunscreen and let's have a weekend. See you on the BP patio. Dear Hayesy-B still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
So then you asked yourselves, isn't there something more to life?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, well, let me clue you in on something. There isn't.
She said looks aren't that important to her?
Dear Hayesy-B.
My God, I got a couple of words for you. You better get your act together.
All right, Kara, this is a rarity. I don't think we've ever done Dear Hayesy-B without O.
No?
Probably without Noodles because he probably, was off on a Friday calling games or something. I think they've done some sort of Dear Hayesy-B when I haven't been here.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sure, which again doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense.
No.
Like, how do you have a Dr. Phil without Phil?
Exactly.
Right? But you have been asking through the grapevine. I think you've even contributed some sort of grapevine online. Like you jumped in on Twitter saying, get me in on this.
Yeah, some people were asking. I was like, yeah, I'd like to do that. I feel like, maybe.
You don't like the advice that we give.
I feel
Just
like
be blunt.
some of the questions need a female presence to help ground them.
Okay. See, I think I take offense to that. Ground, I take offense to. I think you're going to try to completely derail my.
Not at all. I'm going to give the people what they want, some sound advice.
Okay.
This
All
might
right.
turn into like a segment, Kara's Corner or something.
Kara's Corner,
on TSN
I like that.
Radio.
I like that.
Oh, no.
Okay. We got a few here.
Okay.
All right, because I kind of want to get back into the whole ticket thing.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
There's been a lot of ticket stuff going on.
You're
on the
just
show.
disgusted with me for not wanting to take my husband to a Taylor Swift. He's wondering, he's texting me being like, do we got Taylor Swift tickets? People are messaging me. I'm like,
Well,
no, we don't.
You see, I guess when she was in Seattle, the crowd was so crazy, it showed up on the Richter scale.
Really?
Yeah, like a 2.3 on the Richter scale.
Did you hear how Travis Kelce tried to make it backstage to give her a friendship bracelet and she gave him the Heisman?
See you later. Not interested. That's wild. Travis Kelce.
I know.
That was in Kansas City. Too.
Yes.
Well,
Do you think she just didn't know who he was?
Possibly. I think it speaks to like the security probably as well. Like who knows if it even filtered all the way down. But like that's his house.
Yeah.
That was at Arrowhead. Travis Kelce, outside of Mahomes, is the king of Kansas City.
Yeah.
He can't even get back there.
That's wild. She
Yeah.
wanted to save her voice, apparently, was the...
Right.
She's got such a long show, so many shows. She doesn't take any visitors before or after.
Well, it's got to be exhausting because everywhere she goes, there's A-listers that are probably like, I'd love to get back and see her. And you just got to put a full system up, I think.
I
like
guess
send a
so.
message out, just no one's getting back here. Nobody. All right, let's see what you got here, Kara.
All right.
Okay? Let's begin with my man, Joe. I think this is probably exactly the type of content you've been talking about in the past. Joe tweeting and asking for your advice in particular, but I got some advice here too. Joe's saying, I recently retired and my job is giving me a go-away present up to $2,000. I want to get a new set of irons, but my wife insists we use the money to take a nice vacation down south. We vacation down south every year, but I have not got a new set of irons in 10 years. What do you advise I do?
Joe, here's my advice. You have worked, I'm assuming you've worked hard at this job for however many years you've been at it. This is your retirement. It is about you. This is not a joint gift. There are joint events in life like weddings, babies, anniversaries, where you share the gift. This is not one of those events. I say you do what you want to do because this is celebrating the hard work that you have put in. You go get your irons.
Wow, I'm shocked by that advice and I love it. I love it because, of course, that's the play. If anything, here's what I would tell Joe. If you could get into a time machine and go back 2 weeks, you don't even tell your wife that you're getting this.
See, this is where you lead the people astray.
No, I'm not leading them astray. This is need to know information. And Joe, your significant other does not need to know that. You just show up with the irons and say, they gave me these on the way out.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
See?
It's not that they gave you the option.
No, there was no option. There was no $2,000. It was they asked me. They didn't even ask me. They just had heard me over the years say, man, my irons are 10 years old. And they thought of me. Isn't that great?
Okay, that's not terrible advice. I'll give you that.
Now you're
See the
coming
collaborative effort here.
See, it's very different when you're in the big chair. There's a lot of people that can complain about the advice given during Dear Hayesy-B, but when you're the one in the big chair, it changes everything.
All I heard off the hop there was lie to your wife. I was like, whoa.
Well, it's a form of lying, admittedly. But it's fine. Yeah, there's a way to soften the lie.
Yes.
Right? To make everyone just happier, and ultimately you're going to get what you want in the end, and your wife isn't going to be concerned.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, Joe deserves those irons.
All right, should I ask you one?
Yes. What do you got?
There's one specifically for Hayesy-B from Matt. Dear Hayesy-B, my fiance's bachelorette party is this weekend. She asked me if I would be opposed to her getting a tattoo on her bum to commemorate the occasion. I love tattoos and the one she has, but I am a no on the butt. How do I convey that while still being supportive?
Ooh, this is a spicy meatball. Here's what I think you got to ask yourself. Is it Matt?
Matt.
If your wife is a tattoo enthusiast, now I am not personally a tattoo enthusiast. I have no tattoos. I will never have tattoos. I'm not anti-tattoo, but I'm not personally someone that's going to get into tattoos. But my understanding is it's a slippery slope. Mm-hmm. And if your fiance's butt is going to get tattooed at some point anyway, is this a chance to kind of get in there, but allow her to understand that it's got to be subtle, right? In other words, if she is into tattoos, that canvas is going to get filled up at some point.
Sure.
If she's telling you this is where I'm going, maybe you need to take advantage of this to say, okay, you're probably going to get the tattoo anyway. I want to be supportive, but I need you to know that I'm not a huge fan of this. So please get something that is not like outlandish. So I think there's a happy medium here.
This is where you're going astray.
Okay.
Because you are not able as the man in this relationship to weigh in on what you think she should choose or do when it comes to the tattoo.
But she's asked you for your opinion.
You cannot win. This is what you do. You don't want her to get the tattoo. You look her in the eye and you say, your rear end is so perfect, I can't imagine you ever wanting to do anything to it. Mm. Mask it as a compliment.
Okay. So reverse psychology is what you're saying.
Don't try and lead her in one direction with the tattoo. It's got to be her choice, but you can mask it with a compliment.
Yeah. Because it is terrifying, like the idea of your fiance getting a tattoo without you even knowing exactly what that tattoo is can get pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a dangerous game. Yeah.
Especially if you're going on a bachelorette party, you don't know what's
Well, that's what I'm saying.
up.
Like if you're boozing up, like what, I don't know. But like this would it would suggest to me that your fiance is a tattoo enthusiast. Right? Like if you feel like you need to commemorate a bachelorette party. But I would
argue if someone's getting a tattoo on their butt, they're probably not a tattoo enthusiast because they're going to be trying to hide it.
I guess. Or are they out of canvas? Like is my point.
Oh, maybe.
Like do they have sleeves and everything's already, it's like you're just looking for a new spot that you feel like you could stamp.
I think that's the way you go though.
Okay.
You
Reverse
compliment
psychology.
how great she looks without it, and you can't imagine her changing a thing.
I see. Okay. I like it.
Okay.
All right. Joseph tweeting in here. Dear Hayesy-B and Wags, I hit the gym before work, 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. I have a friend who wants to join me, but we've done this dance before. He's an absolute disaster. Chatty, wanders around, complete loser. I'm adding that. He didn't actually say that. How do I approach this? Do I tell him that he's an issue? Do I change the location? I need help.
I also have experienced this issue with a gym partner in the past.
Yes, you have.
Who was not as committed
Yeah.
to getting that workout in.
6 a.m.'s tough. I'm not doing that. Full disclosure.
Yeah, I mean, the only play there, I think, is you have to, and you kind of have to do your research here. You have to figure out what is going to be inconvenient for them. And then you claim that's the only time you could go, or that's the way I'm going to be doing a lot of cardio. You know that this person doesn't like cardio. You kind of got to work around it here.
Yep. I think if this guy's done the dance before, you understand what's coming. You're waiting him out before he pulls the shoot again. He's going to pull the shoot. He's not committed. Being a 6 a.m. gym freak, like that's a dedication. That's a lifestyle. If you're not wired that way, you can't do it. And my assumption would be this guy can't do it anyway. So I would almost go the reverse and be like, yeah, come on in, dude.
Just wait him out.
Yeah, because if you start to have a conversation about, well, what about this? What about that? Or I don't like the way you operate, then he may counter with, well, it's because I'm not comfortable at this time or that location. Why don't we meet in the middle? You don't want to go down that road.
No.
You have your regiment. You've got your thing. This guy eventually is he's gonna bail on you. So you might have to put up with like a few days, maybe a week or two. At some point, this guy's going to pull the shoot. Put the headphones in, say hi.
Hey, that's the key
and then
right
do your
there.
own thing.
Is you establish on day one,
Yeah.
Sure, you want to join me for workout? That's great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on this new program. I'm really dedicated to it. I'm kind of getting in, getting out because I don't have a lot of time. You see them, you do the quick headphone pop out. Hey, how's it going, man? Headphones go back in and you put your head down and you do your routine.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
Exactly. You talk before and after. During, you
Yeah.
need to hold strong.
Or
there's no conversation.
As soon as you see them, you say, hey, man, good to see you. How about I meet you for a smoothie by the bar in about 40 minutes?
Yes. Perfect. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
Done
it.
and done. These
Listen,
are easy
you're going to the
questions.
gym for a reason, right? And if you're dedicated to go to the gym, I got a lot of time for that.
Sure.
I credit you. I'm not one of those people. I'm not wired that way.
Or
Can't
if
do
you
it.
really don't want them to come, invite them to a yoga class.
Yes, that will be the
person will
end
drop
of
off.
any gym relationship. Because yoga is,
That's how our gym partnership ended.
It ended?
One yoga class.
I am
down in
the
flames.
least flexible human being on earth. I'd be, if there were Olympic games for like I guess yoga people,
Yeah.
I'd be Michael Phelps.
You did well,
Like,
though.
I have
you
no
put the effort in.
flexibility.
You tried.
I was wearing socks.
I would say you had socks on. It was a little embarrassing. And you did. I looked over like 20 minutes in and you're giving me the, I'm going to go.
I wanted out of there so
I was
badly.
like, no, you can't.
I wanted out of there so badly. Yoga's not my thing. I'm not flexible. I'm not training for anything. I just want to walk around, shoot hoops, get a smoothie, and leave. And then say I went. Right? That's what I'm looking for. All right, this is more about advice. You want me to throw this one out at you?
Sure.
Because we're both we're big fantasy players.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's Dylan tweeting it, I believe. Asking Hayesy-B and Wags. It's that time of year where our fantasy football league is discussing punishments for last place. Any suggestions on what it should be this year? We all live around Ottawa.
Oh, what the punishment should be.
Yeah. Are you ever in any of those leagues where it's a punishment for last place?
I mean, I'm in a fantasy baseball league with a bunch of guys in the Sports Center newsroom. And so we just have to live with each other, chirping one another every single day when you come in. There's a lot of side betting and things like that. But I've never been in a league where there's a punishment. I mean, I've heard of the leagues where you get relegated. Like whoever's in last place, you're out.
Yeah, that's
kind of cool.
Hard.
It's fun.
That's cool, but that's harsh.
Yeah,
Like, because if this is something you look forward to every year,
sure.
for me, if you live around Ottawa, I'm assuming you hate the Leafs. I would suggest that the punishment has to do with something Maple Leaf related. If you're in
Okay.
Ottawa, assuming the majority of the guys in this pool, the people in this pool, are Ottawa Senator fans. Something related to Leaf Sens, losers got to wear a Leaf jersey. Something
Gotta be
goofy
something
like that.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Something that's going to put you in a tough spot within your own town. I've never experienced any of these before. Like I'm in fantasy pools all the time. We don't punish whoever comes last. I feel like that's a recent development. I think a lot of it's social media driven. Like people want to show the rest of the world, like, this is what we're doing. But it is inspiring. I will say that. Like, you don't want to be on auto draft if you got to do something crazy.
No.
Like, you got to shave your head, or shave your eyebrows. Like, because sometimes you hear about that where guys.
Oh, there's some bad ones.
People have to do some really, really awful stuff.
Yeah, you are committed.
I don't support that.
No,
I mean, I'm
it's
here
too
to
much.
help people. I don't want to hurt people.
But you look at the timing of this. If it's for a fantasy football league, your fantasy football's wrapping up as we head into the new year.
Yep.
So I would say perhaps the loser has to wear a golf outfit of the winner's choosing during the team's first outing.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, I don't know if that's embarrassing enough. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you send a guy out in a golf dress and a visor. It's
That's
pretty
true.
embarrassing.
That could go a
walking
long
onto
way.
the first tee.
That could go a long way, for sure. All right. Well, there you go. What else we got here?
Do we have another one? All right. Hold on. Let me find one here.
Paul's got an interesting one. You want to read
Paul,
Paul's?
sure. Okay. Dear Hayesy-B, headed to Cincinnati in August to see Jays Reds with two buddies. We're sharing one room, but 3 guys plus 1 bathroom may be a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
Do we get a second room just for our business or keep one room and make a trip to the lobby when nature calls?
This is interesting. See, this is what we're here for. And this is what we were talking about with that raft show, right? Like Survive the Raft.
Yes.
We were talking to Nate Boyer about this last hour. And this, I think, makes you very uncomfortable. Although women can share a room. My wife will go on a road trip with like 4 people and they'll share a king-size bed.
See, but I
Like
feel
women will sleep in the same bed. They don't think twice about it. They'll share a bathroom.
at one point in your life, yes, I would argue. Maybe I'm the outlier here, but I feel like I was recently on a trip with someone and it was discussed, do we share a room or do we get our own rooms? I think you reach a point in your life as an adult, you get your own room.
I totally agree. I love my own room because, like, I share my house with my wife, my kid. You don't get a lot of
You
private.
need your space.
It's not that you're doing it. I just want to sleep and be left
Yeah.
alone. That's what I want. Like, I'll hit the road, and I don't have an issue with parent. Like, if I've got a buddy or whatever, and it's like, do you want to share a room? Fine. But if I have the option, I'm taking my own room every single. Then you can escape when you want to
I
escape.
agree. Like this, and this is 3 dudes.
Yeah, I would
Like,
suggest,
that's-
Paul, figure it out. Find a way, especially if you're going there for maybe the whole series. I would suggest get a second room, and each of you get a solo room for one night for the trip.
Exactly.
Because
If you have
that will
enough for a
be
second room to do your
absolutely
business.
game changer. It's not even about that. Like, guys are whatever. Who cares? That becomes a part of the story. Some guys
Guys are
got a boiler issue, and it just
gross.
becomes destructive. Then that's something you can talk about the whole trip. That's a connection. I would suggest
That's what solidifies you as a
Yes.
friend group.
Even if you have separate rooms, come together if you have boiler issues.
That's disgusting. I'm okay with a friendship
it's
not
a
getting
glue. It's a
solidified.
glue move.
I mean, in that case, if you really don't want to spring for the second room, then absolutely go to the lobby.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't think
if one
it's
guy had some
necessary.
bad sushi, though, I
Guys
don't want to be
don't care.
sleeping with that.
Guys don't care.
That's really?
No. I mean, we prefer for it to happen, ideally. But I don't know. I'm not going to the lobby.
No?
You guys can go to the lobby. If anything, it's the opposite way.
Oh.
It's
I
like
would
if you guys
100%
have an
go to the
issue with
lobby.
it, you can go hang out in the lobby. Come back up in like 45.
I don't know.
Dear Hazy-B. See,
So
this is
bad.
where you
That's-
got to
this
be
is
able
a
to
divisive
stomach.
one. Or-
You got to be able to stomach the advice, Kara. You have to.
That's
It's
tough.
not easy being in the big
That's a
chair.
tough one.
Dear Hazy-B.
Yeah, clearly.
Yep.
Do we
All right.
have time for any more?
Some of these are weird. Like the grapplers, he's one of them is about a kiss on a first date.
What are we talking about here?
Well, here's the issue. Like you and I have both been in relationships for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are on a first date. Matt tweeting in like, what do we think about a kiss on the first date? I guess, dude, you got to figure it out yourself.
Read the room, Matt.
Read the room,
If
Matt.
you're having to ask whether you should kiss her, she probably doesn't want you to kiss her.
Right. I think if she's giving off some sort of a signal, and hey, I don't think even though we're living in a different world than maybe we were back in the day, as long as you're respectful, if you're going in and you pick up on her giving you the hey, I don't know, you gotta
Here's
tail
the
off.
move. You go in 5%. If she backs up,
You're
walk
gone.
away.
Yes, you're gone. I mean,
Call it
come
a
on.
day.
Like I'm sure the dating game has changed significantly over the last 15 years, but it can't to the point where you can't pick up on P's and Q's.
Yeah. Would it ruin the moment?
Yeah.
If I asked, first of all, don't ask for a kiss.
No.
If I asked for a kiss.
No, you can't ask for exactly. You can't ask for one, and it's not a kamikaze. It's not a headbutt.
Yeah,
Like, you're not going in so heavy that you know, if she's not into it, it's going to be like, oh, that was confusing. You slowly go in. If she pulls the head back, you're gone.
I'm guessing, Matt, if you are tweeting in to ask if you should ask about having a kiss the first date, you're probably not getting the first date.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
I think you're overthinking things.
Our good friend Jason Strudwick did ask, why does the experience feel hollow when a drive-through breakfast shop does not spread the cream cheese on my bagel? Is that not a thing? Do they not automatically put the cream cheese on your bagel for you?
I have never heard of something so ridiculous. Maybe that's the Alberta lifestyle. I mean, Struddy's...
He's living a charmed life.
They do things differently out in Edmonton. They do.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Multi-grain, go the extra mile.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not a cream cheese guy.
No?
No, I love it.
What about like the new whipped cream cheese you can get?
No, not into it.
It's
butter all
glorious.
the way. Butter all the way. Toasted with butter all day.
I mean, that has its place as well. But the whipped cream cheese is made just for a bagel.
Yeah, it's a big hit in my house. All my girls love the cream cheese.
Love the cream cheese, yeah.
That's not my
it's
thing.
the way to go. Sometimes you do the cream cheese on one side, a little jam, strawberry jam on the other.
Oh, look at you getting
That's
creative.
nice.
Okay, there it is. Dear Hayesy-B. Was it everything you thought it would be?
There was some weird ones. Yeah, I'm glad that the grappler filtered some of these. Some of these, I would say as a blanket statement, some of these questions that are being asked, guys, you know what the answer is.
Yeah, I think most people kind of know what the answer is.
You know the right choice here.
But they're looking for, support.
Okay.
Right?
It's a support line more than anything else.
Possibly support or just like a full-blown understanding, okay, you're right, that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like they lean one way or they want it to go the other way, but they understand it can't.
I will say I did learn something that I didn't realize that pooping together in a room was
it's
a gelling moment for a friend group.
Absolutely, especially on a big road trip. Just there's a spark that comes with that. Is that specifically a male thing? Is that what you're suggesting?
That is a male thing. It's very much so.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Dear Hayesy-B, there you go. Good stuff, Kara. I got to be honest.
It was
surprised
fun.
me with some of your advice.
Including
supporting Joe lying to his wife about the irons.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you know how it is when you've been in a relationship for a really long time.
Yeah.
It's not lying, it's omitting.
It's not giving the full
and it's okay sometimes. Yes.
details. Exactly. It's how you phrase it. You're not caught in a lie. It's just you didn't tell the full truth.
It's all about picking your battles.
Pick your battles and get those irons. P790s. TaylorMade.
We do agree. I got the Stealth irons. Those are pretty sweet too.
Stealth are very good. I get the 5.6 Stealth and then P790 7 through Gap.
Gotcha.
Go to. Love them. All right. We'll come back and recap a busy afternoon. Best Bets brought to you by FanDuel. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right. Mail-in Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza. Weekends are better with fish bowls and frosty pints on the BP patio. Grab your sunscreen. Let's have a weekend. See you on the BP patio tonight. I referenced this NBA memo that went out to all 30 teams because I guess the NBA, finally, Adam Silver had to do something here. They just went through a whole CBA, and yet you still have players like Damian Lillard demanding out and only going to one team. And there were reports and rumors that his agent had been calling teams not named the Miami Heat, saying, don't trade for this guy or he won't show up, or if he does, he'll be a malcontent, blah, 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 which you can't have. His agent, Goodwin, I don't have his full name here, Aaron Goodwin, has refuted that.
Okay.
And Damian Lillard refuted that. And the memo, though, went on to say, now I'll believe this when I see it. Goodwin and Lillard affirmed to us, the NBA, that Lillard would fully perform the services called for under his player contract in any trade scenario. End quote. So does that open the door to teams not named the Miami Heat acquiring Damian Lillard?
I mean, if you believe it at face value, I guess so. But I feel like it's been out there that he only wants to go to Miami anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like the NBA on a whole is just becoming a little too player driven.
Yeah, way too player driven.
Contracts
way
don't
too
even
much
matter
power
anymore. They can just decide, I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to be here anymore.
I think I think it might suck for Lillard that he is the poster boy now of possible change. Mm-hmm. But Adam Silver and the owners had to show a pulse here.
Yeah.
You cannot allow this. You cannot allow Portland to get screwed because there's no leverage around the league. The fan base in Portland and other fans and other teams to say, this guy just dictates where he wants to go. And you can't have agents calling teams saying, don't acquire my guy.
That you can't really prove. So
Well, that's the thing. Of course, they're going to say that didn't happen. Don't you have to go to the teams and get them to answer if it happened or
You
not?
would think if you're doing a true investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to talk to the teams. But yeah.
Well, we'll see. I still think he probably ends up in Miami, but who knows? Today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm on Canada to beat Australia. You're getting plus money on that. Over 1.5 total goals. You parlay Canada to win. Over 1.5 total goals. You're getting plus 316. I like those odds. I like that parlay. I think Canada came alive in the second half against Ireland. I think they continue to roll on Monday morning.
This might be the turning point. They got that spark.
Got to happen.
Second half.
Got to have it.
Yeah.
Right? Got to have a minimum a draw, but a win. You win your group. You move on. It's all good. Today's best bets are powered by FanDuel, but on any Canadian to score, assist, or have a shot on goal in a soccer game, same game parlay. Please play responsibly. 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. We made it to 7 o'clock. Barely.
Grind it out. The mail it in Friday.
We made it to 7 o'clock. Kara, it's been great seeing you.
It was lovely to be in here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for including me in the special edition of Dear Hayesy-B.
Yeah, you're always welcome. Whenever you want to take part, feel free. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in all week. TV, podcast, radio, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.